Welcome to Sidetracked. This is the place we keep the stuff that doesn't exactly fit in with one of our project builds, but we want to share with you anyway. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and don't forget to push that little bell icon so you can be notified of future videos. It's a tradition around here for everybody to come over to our house on 4th of July to blow stuff up, have some good food and a really good time. And part of that now is people want to come in and visit the Brownsmith Railroad, check on the progress, because as you guys know, things are always changing. So in anticipation of that, I put a train together to run it around on the loop portion of the track to make sure the track was clean, there was no debris, and the train would run smoothly. And as I was doing that, I had a consistent derailment problem on one of the turnouts over in Brownsville. And, you know, I work pretty hard on this and I want everybody to see what I've done and I want the train running, so I couldn't just sidestep this thing. So what I did, I just decided to pull myself off the logging camp build and get on replacing this turnout finally. Now, here's the challenge. This turnout is way back here in the back of the layout. It is the most difficult turnout to get to on the railroad. I've got to stand up on a chair and lean over, and it's just all kinds of fun. So I switched it out. There's some other problems that were identified as that happened, and we're going to address those in this episode. Keep in mind, this is part one of a two-part series. The second part you're going to see it on It's My Railroad this coming Thursday. But for now, let's just go ahead and jump into this and see what happens. So let me introduce you to the good turnout gone bad. Here it is right here. Now, this frog seems to be the problem. And it's been a problem since I installed it, frankly. But I did some filing. I actually, at one point, poured super glue all in here and then filed that frog back to make it work. You know, and I had some success with getting the trains to go over there, but the problem just persists. Randomly, a locomotive or a car will just derail right there. And you know, this is on the main line here with the siding off to what's going to be the new sawmill. And so it just kind of takes the fun out of it. So rather than just blah, blah, blah going along with this terrible turnout, I decided to swap it out and decided to show you guys how I do it. And there's no secret to it, by the way. First off, right here, here, and here, we have soldered rail joiners. That's going to make this a wee bit of a challenge. Also have an insulated rail joiner right here, because on this side we have the block detector that makes the turnout throw automatically, and so we need to insulate that rail from there. So those are some of the things we're going to have to deal with as we take this apart. I'm going to go through and snip out this turnout just to get it out of the way, and then we'll have to heat the soldering iron up to pull these little remnants off without screwing up what's there. What I'm hoping to do is just pull the old one out and put the new Pico turnout in and then not glue it down. I will let the ballast take care of that once this is all in place. Sometimes by putting a weight or something on one of these to hold it down for the glue to make contact, what'll happen is, at least on my railroad, we'll end up stressing that turnout out, and then I have these kind of problems, and I don't want these kind of problems anymore. So anyway, that's kind of the overview of what we're doing. So let's just get into this. Pardon the shadows. I cut it here. Yeah, we'll just pull that out of the way. I like that. And we cut it here. And here. Here. And here. Something interesting I saw happen as I'm cutting those off. This rail right here, look at that. See how that moves? I'm not certain we like that. And, you know, I was contemplating doing this anyway, and that is taking the track out back further so that I can solder on a piece of track here, make a nice good connection at the turnout, and then out here somewhere, if it's a little screwed up, it won't be so bad when the trains cross. So based on this little thing happening, I think that's something we want to do. I don't know. Let's find out. So I need to get something to pry this up. Sometimes I can just do it with my fingers. As I do though, looks like I forgot to cut this one. Huh, well, look at that. We got some wires down there. I had forgotten, folks, that I soldered some wires, some feeder wires to the turnout. All right, we got that sucker out of the way. Bring this in and remove the remnants. You know, even this track right here is, well, it's loose. I guess the rails are still connected to the railroad ties. That's not so bad. We might actually need that flexibility when we put this thing back in. But again, I'm thinking, I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm thinking I might want to cut this down and then actually drive a new feeder wire in there. I had the feeder wires on this turnout right here because I wasn't getting necessarily good contact because of right there. I've got that insulated rail joiner. But if I let that rail come a little bit further and then connect it on, I might get something good there, and we'll figure it out here. And I can solder on a feeder wire to power the turnout. I like it. So I guess the next thing we need to do is fire up my best friend in the world, which is my soldering iron. Good times. All right, so we bring the soldering iron in, trying not to damage the rest of the model. Heat that up. What I'm trying to do here is just put a little bit of pressure, pulling pressure, on this piece of rail while I heat this up. Problem is, if you try to pull too hard, you could end up destroying the rail on the other side. You know, I think I'll go ahead and figure out a way to get that ballast off of there too. You just sort of go like this. These I just slid under after the fact. To replace the ones that I'd cut off, which you're going to see us do again here in just a second. Alright, we got that down. Now we'll take our turnout here, and we want to get rid of the railroad ties at the end so that we can slide the rail joiners on. On that side, and on that side. So in a perfect world, I should be able to set that turnout right there and just hook on the rail joiners. But can you guys see in this camera angle the problem I have right here? Look at the angle that thing is approaching that turnout. I don't know how I let myself do that. It's pretty bad. So I'm really thinking, I'm convincing myself I need to come back here somewhere and cut that track and see if we can get a better run on that. All right, so here's what I think I'm going to do to kind of try to make this a little more reliable and I don't know, make it easier to install. Is right about here I've got the feeders for this whole section of track, and within that is the isolated rail that feeds the turnout down here. So that has to be isolated from the layout. It is on the this side over here, but not over there until you get to the turnout. So I think if I go through and from right here where I've already got a set of rail joiners, I replace this whole piece of track right up to the turnout, get it all in there, make sure the trains are running kind of good on it and stuff. Then all I have to do is go back somewhere over here and just snip the rail, boom, and this section will be isolated, and I can drop a feeder down from right there to power this little piece, which will also power back into that turnout. So I think that is, at least from a regular guy point of view, I think that's what we're going to do in this particular situation. Well, as you can see, nothing is too difficult to do. Things just require time and effort. Interesting that we discovered some other problems along the way. Makes me feel better about what we're doing, because I think there was some long-term problems there waiting to develop anyway. So again, don't forget to tune in Thursday for It's My Railroad to see the rest of this episode. And you know, this is the kind of stuff we do here on Sidetracked and It's My Railroad. So again, if you haven't done it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, and then make sure you like and share this video with somebody, and don't forget to connect with us over on Facebook. And until next time, my name is Steve Brown, and rail on, my friends.